So hey guys, as you noticed before, I transferred from Lightroom for the longest time to Capture One. I've been using Capture One for probably the last 3 years already. So right now, I'm gonna be showing you how you can start using Capture One like you're using Lightroom. Anyway, if you are so used to the workspace of Lightroom, you can go to Window and Workspace, Capture One, and then go to Migration. But first, I'm gonna save my workspace and I'm gonna say Chester. So I'm gonna go to Window, Workspace, and then Migration, and it's gonna try to copy Lightroom, as you can see from here. There you go. So now I have a few images here that I shot. So first and foremost, I would like to tell you guys to, or advise you guys to at least do the shoot properly in camera and don't rely on editing. Make sure that your exposure is good, make sure your focus is right, and make sure that your composition is already good before you edit anything. This will simplify the process and, of course, lessen your workload for you. So, first, I'm going to go to this image that I took for the view. Uh, as I can see, the image is properly exposed. I think I lit this with the Godox AD600 and a P90L. Uh, I purposely balanced the ambient light to the key light so that it will look natural. So in here, I think I might go back to my workspace. There you go. It's easier for me because I can see the image better because it's bigger. I'm gonna go to the exposure panel here and probably pull down the highlights just a bit to show the color of the dress. There you go. And then we can basically go to the color and select this color, this range. It's in the purple range and probably pull the lightness down. There you go. And saturate it a bit to give it more pop. And that's about it. That's all the adjustment that I want to do. Now I'm gonna color grade it. So when color grading, I usually use the color balance in Capture One, this one. You can actually make it float and make it bigger so that you can fine tune your adjustments a bit better. So what I do is I'm gonna go to three-way. I'm gonna adjust the midtones to probably uh, the proper skin tone for her and probably the highlights as well. Then I'm gonna pull the shadows down to pull them down. And there you go. That's my basic color grading for this. You may want to add another grade on top of it or maybe a fade or whatever, but that's about it for me. We can always go back to the exposure side and go to the curve and maybe introduce a fade by pulling the blacks up and pulling the whites down to make that film look that everyone is raving about. I'm personally not a fan of this, but yeah, if you want to do it, by all means, if you want to, go ahead. So I'm gonna make sure that my midtones are in the mids, even if I've introduced a fade like this. And yeah, that's probably it. So it's very basic, it's very clean. You can export it right away by clicking the export here on top. But for me, I'm gonna move on to the next sample. So we have here another picture. So basic adjustments again. I'm gonna pull down the highlights just a bit and probably push the shadows up just a bit. And there you go. Now you can play around with it, color grade it. Uh, the cinematic look that everyone is trying to do. It's orange and teal, so move it to orange, orange, and pull this down to teal. And there you go. You have orange and teal. I usually don't add a lot of drama to an image, but you can always do that by adding contrast or probably lessening contrast. And then pulling the blacks down there. And that's it. You have your basic orange and teal color. Okay, moving on. So I have this image. I'm just gonna make sure it's straight. So I'm gonna crop it just a bit. Hold on. Original. Oh no. Maybe we can rotate it instead of cropping it. Just rotate it. Make sure you make a straight line from here to here, and that's it. Okay, and then moving forward, I'm gonna pull the highlight just down a bit and the shadows up. There you go. You have a basic clean image, and now you can color grade it again. Usually for this, I make it look like urban, so I'm gonna cool down the whole tone. There. Probably go back to my exposure, add a little bit of contrast, and the fade, and that's it. And there you have uh, modern or urban color grade. So here I did this image for a demo with the Godox B1. So uh, in here I can always just increase the contrast, increase the highlight, and pull the shadows down to make it more dramatic. Pull the exposure up a bit, and then add a little bit more contrast and blacks. And that's what I wanted to do. And now add a little bit of an uh, orange and teal drama to it, and that's about it. This is too much, guys, so you can pull the saturation just a bit down. Just a subtle color grade will do. There you go. And you have a cinematic look. And last, oh no, there's another one here. I took this sunset photo. Uh, I purposely exposed for the background and then filled it in with the Godox AD600 in front. So what you can do here is make sure that the highlights are not overexposed. So I can try to pull the highlights a bit more there so you can see the sun. Probably push the shadows up just a bit so you can see a little bit of detail here. And then um, what what else? Well, I'll be color grading this. So I'll probably move to the oranges because it should look warm. Push it there. Shadows, cool it down. And then go back to my exposure and pull up the Kelvin or the white balance to show a sunset. And there you go. That's a sunset photo. For this one, it's a basic portrait. So I'm just gonna pull down the highlights just to show the skin and retouch it later on. So that's about it, guys. Um, you should not, well, I advise that you should be trying to do the color grades yourself instead of using presets all the time, because using the color grade or doing the color grade by yourself lets you learn a lot of things about color, a lot of exploration to be done, and you have a lot of flexibility as well. So that's about it. Thank you for listening. I hope you learned something. Goodbye.